Jonathan Medved, CEO and founder of OurCrowd, a high-tech venture capital firm. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here.
So we're seeing record highs in tech stocks, especially on the NASDAQ. What do you make of that? You're in the tech world. Are we at risk of another bubble like we saw 15 years ago?
No, I mean, just the fact that we've actually come back to the level where NASDAQ was 15 years ago does not mean this time it is a bubble. The companies are far stronger, far more real. They're delivering revenues, God willing profits. And while valuations have certainly gone up to some eye-popping levels for some of these private companies and even a few public ones, I think in general, if you look at the historical averages in terms of where they are trading now relative to price to earnings and whatnot, we're not at all in a bubble. And I think that if you take a look at technology in the right time frame, which is not this year or next year, but 10 or 20 years, it's up and to the right. Right? We're now starting a wave of technology investment, which will include the Internet of Things, big data and analytics, further advances in cybersecurity, robotics and drones and machine vision, medical devices. This is going to be a very, very big and continuing story. No bubble here.
But frothy valuations, is that something you're worried about in Israel?
Well, I mean, see, again, I'm a venture capitalist and crowdfunder. I'm looking at time frames not of like what's going to happen 3 months or 6 months from now, but what's going to happen 3 and 6 years from now. And the Israeli valuations, by the way, are very, very reasonable. Our companies are not experiencing crazy valuations. We're investing, I think, at very, very reasonable levels, and the average exit price for Israeli startups has gone up to $200 million from $30 million only 6 years ago.
Talk to us about the startup scene in Israel. Should Silicon Valley be worried?
No, Silicon Valley should be worried of nobody. The rest of the world should be worried, though, because we're number 2, right? We're Avis, we try harder. I mean, the reality is there's a duopoly now, and it's, Israel and Silicon Valley. Everybody else is eating our dust. Now, if you take my company, for example, OurCrowd, in the area of equity crowdfunding, we have become the biggest platform for equity crowdfunding worldwide. The competitors we have in Silicon Valley are doing very good jobs, but because of our international networks out of Israel, we're actually driving more investment and more money through OurCrowd than any other crowdfunding platform.
But how do you compete? Why should I go to Israel to start my company?
Well, first of all, if you look at these trends that I spoke about, Internet of Things or big data and analytics, they're coming into our home court advantage. Israel was never good at pets or online toy stores. Israel is good at hard technology problems. And the next wave of issues for the world are hard technology problems. So the Internet of Things is going to be driven by Israel. And big data will be driven by Israel. Amazon just bought an Israeli chip company, would you believe, for almost $400 million because they want to integrate that technology up through their stack in terms of how they run their data services. Israel of 10 years from now is even going to be more important in the world of technology startups than it is today.
Well, let's talk about the future. Where do you see the next big opportunity in Israel, and how can U.S. investors get in on the action?
Well, there's a company called Consumer Physics, which makes a product called SIO. It allows you to essentially scan all matter, and it's a molecular scanner like a spectrometer, but in your pocket, $200. This is going to be huge. It'll tell you whether the antibiotic you're about to take is real. It'll tell you, is that diamond real or not? Was your child imbibing illegal substances last night when you scan his pee-pee? Okay, you can do all kinds of amazing things with this company. We have a company called Pixie, who are doing the location of things. It looks like a little guitar pick that you can put on your cat, or you can put on your mother-in-law, or you can put anywhere, and you can track them. There are so many companies in the area of medical devices, companies like Site Diagnostics, which are doing new ways for malaria testing, or Rewalk, which is now publicly traded off of our platform. It came as an investment first with us, went public, and that's a company that allows paraplegics to use robotic legs and to get up out of their wheelchair.
All right, Jonathan Medved, thanks so much for joining us.
A pleasure.